Good morning. I'm Teresa Miller. I'll be your co-host on this episode of Chapter 9 Review. Hello, hello. We are getting ready for the big Chapter 9A exam. Why 9A, Mrs. Miller? Well, Chapter 9 is one of the largest chapters in the entire textbook. Not that I ever mention the textbook very much, I just do my own thing. But I do follow basically the order of the textbook. It's such a long chapter that we basically divided into two exams. Okay, 9-1 and 9-2 is the first exam, 9A, and everything else is 9B. They're both kind of sassy content pieces because they both are about quadratics. And so the first portion, 9A, is basically the vocabulary and graphing, whereas B is solving a quadratic, which means finding its zeros without graphing. Cool beans. Okay, so the 9A exam has two parts. It has part 1 and part 2. Part 1 looks very similar to what you see behind me. It has graphing, it has vocabulary, and it has two mysterious questions that I'm going to imply heavily in class so the kids will know what's coming their way. And then part 2 is a part that is about kind of them extending their knowledge of what we've been covering. So it's an extension of understanding quadratics. So if they understand certain things, they should be able to push it just a little bit and answer some more challenging type questions. I don't even know if they're challenging. It's just a different view of quadratics. It's looking at it from a different lens. So I don't think they're harder, but I definitely think it's a different viewpoint, okay? From this point onward, retakes will only be on part 1, not part 2. So whatever you earn on part 2 is set, and that's 20 points. Part 1 is 80 points. So 80 and 20, this is a 100-point exam. You can retake the first part, the 80-point part, but you can't retake the 20-point part. I've really been thinking heavily about retakes, and I really think that retaking the meat is awesome. The potatoes, not so much. Because I think at the end of algebra, a lot of kids might be giving themselves an extra week or so to prepare for the retake versus preparing for the real first try test. And I think I'm kind of teaching kids a wrong message, that you don't have to be prepared the first time. I don't like that about the message I'm sending them. So I really want kids to be ready to take the test the first time I give it. And if a retake is absolutely needed, they definitely can take the 80 points out of the 100 over again. Okay, cool. Let's get started on the review. So this is the 9A study guide. This is the part 1 review. Part 2 I'm also going to go over too. So graphing and vocab. Graphing and vocab. So if you can graph on this test, that's half the test points. That's 50 out of 100. So you can graph, you're good to go. So let's look at this guy. So we know if anything is just this, it's the parent function. That's the basic form of what we call a quadratic. A quadratic is something with this little 2 above the x. A quadratic, when graphed, always forms a parabola. So if you see an x squared, so y equals x squared and then other stuff, the x squared is telling me it's a quadratic. It will form a parabola when graphed. There's no exception to that rule. That's 100% of the time. A basic parabola starts at 0, 0, and then there's definitely a pattern that follows. 1, 1, and 2, 4. 1, 1, and 2, 4. That's the basic form of a parabola. So when you graph this beautiful quadratic called the parent function, you create this guy. And from this beginner shape, we can do all of these movements. Like, is it going to move up? Is it going to move down? Is it going to move left or right? Is it going to get wider, thinner? Is it going to flip downstairs, right? So we have all these cool things that could happen. So let's see this one. So I see the parent function. They just use function notation. but it's y equals x squared. There's that basic one. But this is saying move it up 1. So if you have a plus or minus of a number, a plus just says move up, a minus says move down, okay? So if you see x squared and then right next to it is a plus or a minus, it's just a move up or down. It's called a vertical shift, moving up or moving down. So let's try this. The basic shape that we know, I'm gonna move it up and then follow the same pattern of 1, 1 and 2, 4. And some kids keep asking me, are you gonna make sure that we really count over 1, 1 and over 2, 4? Yes. Yes, that's the point. It needs to be accurate. Yes, accuracy matters. Cool beans. Next, we have this Yahoo, okay? So this one says shift up 6. So I would go with that vertex point. So I'm gonna shift it up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the pattern would typically be 1, 1 and 2, 4. But, ooh, look at that. That's telling me to grab that parabola and flip it, because it's a negative parabola. So it's going to be shifted downstairs. Same pattern, 1, 1, partner on the other side, 2, 4, partner on the other side. Look at us. Cool. Now, not only do we need to have them graphed appropriately, we need to be able to answer some pretty cool vocab questions, okay? So let me maybe tilt this downward. Cool beans, please don't fall. Okay. So the first question that we need to identify is, what is the vertex? A vertex is either the lowest or the highest point on a parabola. So basically, like, this to me is a valley. Like if you went hiking, the vertex is that low point of the valley on your hike, and then you went back up. This one is you went on a hike up a mountain. There's the peak, there's your vertex, and then you went down. So this one has a vertex that's right here. This one has a vertex that's way up there. It just depends on how the parabola is laying. Is it laying down or is it laying up? Cool. So this vertex is going to be located at 0, go up 1. That would be one single point on the test. What is the axis of symmetry? Well, the axis of symmetry is an invisible line that cuts the shape into equal parts. I can see that it went right through the 0 right here. So is it the 0, 1, 2, negative 1, negative 2? So this line cut right through 0. So how do we say axis of symmetry, it's a line at 0? Well, the formula for a tall line, a vertical line, is x equal some number. And the number that we went through in this case is 0. Cool. Now, I'm going to skip to another part that I think will help us. Domain interval when increasing, domain interval when decreasing. Okay, let's go back to that hiking example. So I'm gonna draw a little hiking guy here, or gal. So here's my little stick figure, and they're gonna go on a hike. What are they doing on the hike right now? Are they decreasing or increasing? You're right, they are decreasing currently. Decrease. So this whole side is the decrease side of their hike. Now, if you went up over here, that's the increase side. I'll make that side pink. So that axis of symmetry gives us a boundary between where decreasing is happening and increasing is happening. And again, this side is decreasing because if you went on a walk, you were going decrease down. Right there, you were doing neither at that point. You were neither increasing nor decreasing. And then you went increasing over here. So if you are a number smaller than 0, you're a value that is less than 0, you're on the decrease side, x less than 0. If you're over here, you're on the increase side. So these are values that are greater than 0. Cool, nice, cool, cool. Now, let's continue. I'm gonna erase all of this because it's a lot. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so, oh, shenanigans. I just erased the whole darn thing. Dang it. Cool, sorry about that. Okay, so now we are back to the original. And we answered all the questions, but max, min, value, domain, and range. So max or min? Well, if you're looking at a parabola that goes up, This is a mountain. And like any mountain, it has a high point. We call that high point a maximum. So that guy over there would have a maximum. This is not a mountain. I consider this one a valley. And a valley doesn't have a high point. It has a low point. We call that low point a minimum. So here it is. We're going to circle minimum on this one because it has a low point. What is the value of that low point though? What is the height of that low point? I can see if this is 0, that low point is at 1. Now domain and range. Now I showed a PowerPoint in class, and every kid should have seen it, and if they weren't here to see it, they should have come by. It takes about a minute to show them the PowerPoint. Now I'm going to show you how to do domain and range with a magnet and a string. Let me go grab the string. Holy moly, where's the string? Where did I put it? It's right here. I got it. I got the string, okay? So, okay, here we go. We're gonna find the domain and range of this shape. Now I took a little magnet and I just put it right on the vertex. Domain are X values, range are Y values. So I'm gonna put my string and make the same shape. Okay, do you see it? Do you see there's my parabola on my string? Now I'm going to smash this shape against the x-axis. The x-axis is this one. And if I smash this shape against this axis, it will let me know my x values, my domain. So here we go. Very dramatic here. Ready? I'm gonna smash it. Smash, 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 smash. Do you see it? It covered every darn value because the domain is all real numbers. Because when I smashed this shape and squeezed it on this axis, it covered every stinking number. Cool. Let's try range. Range are my Y values. So I'm going to take this string, put it right there. Oh, shenanigans. Put down the marker. And now I'm going to squish this against the Y axis because range is Y. Ready? Squish, 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 squish. Now you can see this time I didn't cover all the numbers, right? I covered from the ladybug up. So that would be a range of Y values, Y numbers that are greater than or equal to, bigger or equal to this ladybug number, which is 1. Okay? So our range is Y greater than or equal to 1. Awesome, and we already did the rest of that one. So that's the end of video number 1 for review. I'm not gonna do both sides of this, but I'm gonna do enough that we feel kind of comfortable, okay? Cool beans, come back for a video number 2 on the 9A review. Bye.